In this chapter, we will cover the importance of the strategy session, key questions to ask during the session, example responses from a real client, and using gathered data to guide the project. Let's get started. The importance of a strategy session. The strategy session is crucial as it sets the foundation for the entire project. It's a time for the client to reflect on their goals, challenges, and vision. Your role is to dig deep and identify the right solution to help the client achieve their objectives. The data gathered here will determine all the next steps. Record the call and create a transcript to ensure you capture all the details. Here are the key questions to guide the session. Start by the base. We need to know more about the client. What's the brand story? How big is the team? Any stakeholders or decision makers? This is important to give an overview before start to dig. Now talk about the product. You need to ask the client to explain their product or their offer as simple as possible. This is a good exercise for the client. Explain as simply as possible his product or offer, but also to you to understand well his product or offer. Now let's dig deeper. What's the pain and what's the gain? What problem the client is trying to solve? You need to ask to the client, what problem are you trying to solve? And what have you done so far? What has worked and what hasn't? How would you measure the success for this project? What's your actual metrics? What's your goal? How would you measure success for your site? With this question, you can identify the gap between what the client currently has and what they want. This is crucial for designing the client's website. It helps to determine how I can assist the client in reaching their goal. For example, you are a solar panel company and you want to increase your conversion rate from 3 to 5%. However, after conducting user interview, you realize that the people who don't buy from you provide feedback, indicating that they don't trust the brand or don't fully understand the product. So maybe this means that you need to work on your identity assets or provide better quality assets to create a more trustworthy company image, or explain the product better by creating a product page that answers all user questions, or improve the homepage to direct users to where they need to go by refining the site architecture, or create an immersive experience using animation to explain specific details about the solar panel, and more. Now let's talk about target audience. You need to ask to the client, who are your primary and secondary target markets? Who is using these sites? For what? It's really important to know who the users are. You don't design the same way for a skateboard shop website targeting 30 years old riders and a cosmetic brand targeting 50 years old women. You need to know the function of the website. Is it to inform, to sell, to contact, or another function? Similarly, you don't design an e-commerce site and a showcase website in the same way. On a showcase website, you can delve deeper into content because people are there for that. Now you need to ask to the clients, what's your thing? What makes you unique? Because by knowing what makes unique your clients and his offer, having a competitive advantage, it's important and it's a thing that you need to play with. For example, look the brand Cowboy. What makes the brand unique? The by design, the connectivity, the quality. And if you check the website, these are the elements you find immediately, thanks to the artistic direction. But also, and more importantly, if we continue with the Cowboy example and consider the competitive advantage, as the bike design, the connectivity, and the quality, you can see that the design and the construction of the website symbolize this. The website has a tech vibe with design and screen display that reflect the bike's hyperconnectivity. You see high-end 3D visual, elegant photography, and a premium design that reflect the bike's quality and instill trust in the user. As you can see, a simple question can unlock a lot of insight. Now you need to talk about the clients of your clients. What is the strategy for attracting new customers? What's their marketing strategy or social strategy or emailing strategy? You need to know what's the onboarding process for new customers. Or do they have clients or customers feedback? It's important to know the client strategy to attract new customers because it needs to be aligned with the website. This might determine the need for landing page creation or email campaign. Additionally, Knowing where the people come from will guide you to your website content. And as mentioned before, understand why a customer buy your product or why a client want to work with you will be your main focus on the website. And it's also important to know the customer journey because it will impact how you build your website. Now let's talk about the brand. You need to ask the client, do you have an established brand? Or how would you like to be perceived as a brand? Because it will help you to get the tone of voice, and the direction that want to take the brand. And now let's talk about the art direction. Knowing the mood and the brand tone the clients want to convey is crucial to avoid going in the wrong direction and wasting time proposing something that doesn't fit the client's expectation. I also like to ask the client if they have website references where they envision their brand. If they don't, no worries. You will guide them in the mood board phase. Now let's talk about resources, branding, photo, video, copywriting, and more. With this question, it's important to know the assets you have at your disposal to achieve the client's goal. As mentioned before, if the client doesn't have the assets to match their ambition, it's important to include new and extra phases in the process, such as 3D design, photography, copywriting, brand identity, or illustration. Technically, they already send me everything they have and drop on Dropbox or in Notion, because this is super useful for the design phase to have all the base to work with.